And here we go. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to today's episode Q&A. Our topic for today is what makes a great guitar player, or we can expand it and say what makes a great musician. So I'm definitely looking for y'all's feedback. I'd love to have a lively discussion about it, but even if it is just me, that's okay. I'm going to go over this. Hey, somebody's here. Hello, how you doing? All right, so what makes a great guitar player? I'm going to go ahead and kick things off. And you feel free to put it in the live chat there, what you think makes a great guitar player or musician. And I have discovered that it's not necessarily someone who can do everything, right? If we look at the greatest guitar players in history, the people who are remembered are typically not those who can sweep and tap and alternate pick super fast. And they're not people who play at the pinnacle of technical virtuosity. They tend to be people who make a unique statement. So my argument here, my thesis, if you will, for my doctorate of guitar here would be that a great guitar player is someone who can make a unique statement. Okay, so who are the guitar players who have made the most unique statements? I would argue, who would you say? I would argue Jimi Hendrix, first and foremost, was probably the most unique guitar player that we've had. That also manages to connect with a large audience, right? Because if you're really unique and it doesn't connect with anybody, well, then are you really great? And then I guess it becomes kind of subjective. But I would argue that to be great, you have to be recognized as great, at least by somebody. So that's kind of a debatable thing. I think we could have. But what about so someone like Jimmy Page or Eric Clapton? These are guitar players that would maybe not be considered as unique by today's standards, but they were pioneering for their time, right? And I will say, I caught Eric Clapton on a reunion show with Cream recently on the cable television. Does anybody know what cable TV is anymore? You guys ever heard of cable? I still have cable television actually, and I just caught it on live TV. There's something magical about live television or TV where you're not on Netflix and cycling through and choosing from 1,000 different programs. It's like whatever's on TV, that's what you're watching. And so I just caught part of their reunion concert live at Royal Albert Hall, and I almost forgot how much I love Eric Clapton. He sounded incredible. He hasn't really done anything significant guitar player since the 60s or 70s. But man, I tell you what, when he got back together with Jack Bruce and Ginger Baker, those guys were incredible. And Eric Clapton really has a special sound to him. And I think that does make him great. So who else? Who are some great guitar players you can think of? And let's connect them. So somebody to me, like let's take like a John Petrucci. John Petrucci to me is a great guitar player. He's an incredible guitar player. But for me personally, why I think he's so great is because he does everything just so much better than everybody else. I don't know if he's the most unique guitar player. What do you guys think about Petrucci? Do you think he's unique, or is he just that good? And I kind of feel like he's doing what everybody else does in the metal and shred guitar community, but he just does it at a higher level than everybody else. And that is what makes him so great. Versus a guy like Yngwie. Yngwie can't do everything well, but he does a lot of things well. And he does them so well that he really, that's a guy who has a unique sound. He focuses on a couple of different scales and a few different kinds of runs, and every now and then he'll change it up. But he's really only known for doing a handful of things, incredibly, incredibly well. He's a neoclassical guy, right? Whereas someone like John Petrucci kind of can do anything, kind of do any style. He can kind of mimic and do play what anybody else can play. So they're kind of great in different ways. I personally would most of the time rather listen to Ingve rather than John Petrucci. And I can't believe I'm even saying that. 10 years ago, I wouldn't have said that. So what are some of the techniques now that make these guitar players great? I still want to hear from you guys. I'd love to know if you're here live with me. Let me know in the live chat. If you're catching this broadcast later, just let us know in the comments. Let's keep this conversation going. Who are some of the great guitar players that, for you personally, that connect with you? Sorry, let me give you one more example before we go into technique. And that is Kevin Cadigan of Third Eye Blind. I think is supremely underrated. He is one of my all-time favorite guitar players. And he was taught by Joe Satriani, and he doesn't do anything like incredibly complex. But what he says, he writes very catchy melodic guitar solos. You know it's him. So he's instantly recognizable. And he uses very unique tunings as well. So again, this is an example of a guitar player that is not the pinnacle of technique, but he's someone who does what he does very well, and people can tell who he is just based on how he plays. Joe Satriani, the god of guitar, in my opinion, a guy who you instantly know it's him. Okay, I got to tell you this. I was watching the movie Moneyball the other day. Have any of y'all seen the movie Moneyball? I've never seen it. I'd never seen it, with Brad Pitt and Jonah Hill. Incredible movie. Well, they go to play the national anthem before the start of one of the baseball games. And like someone's getting ready to play the national anthem. And I was like, that sounds so familiar. One chord is all it took. And then I heard, wow, wow, wow. And I was like, that sounds just like Joe Satriani. Sure enough, they cut to Joe Satriani in the movie Moneyball playing it. Instantly recognizable as a player. Does he do everything well? No. But what he does well is so him. It's so unique, and I think that's one of the things that really makes him great. Plus, he writes simple melodies that connect with a large audience, and I think that's important. So who else? Eric Johnson, Steve Vai. Love them or hate them, these are guys who are very unique in their sound. So let's talk about technique. What are some of the techniques required to be great? I don't think you need to master every single technique to be great at guitar player, to be a great guitar player, and to be a member for a great player. I would say there is one that is undeniable. You must have great vibrato. Every great guitar player I can think of has great vibrato. And most guitar players I talk to, if I ask them, what is the one technique you would say separates an amateur from a pro? We typically say vibrato. So sometimes you see guys do this. Okay, sorry, grabbing my guitar. I'm not plugged in or anything, but you'll at least be able to see it. I don't know if you'll be able to, you probably won't be able to hear this, but you'll see guys just like shake their hand, and you can tell they kind of don't know what they're doing, and you don't even hear anything. But getting a great vibrato like that, or even a unique vibrato. B.B. King had a very unique vibrato. I'm not really a huge fan of it. I don't like that style of vibrato. Joe Bonamassa sometimes does it, but sometimes he does a really incredible wide vibrato as well. I think vibrato is non-negotiable. You gotta have great vibrato if you're gonna be a great guitar player. I see too many guitar students focus on getting all over the fretboard, playing these complex exercises and licks, and yet they can't do vibrato. I'm like, what are you doing? Don't even waste your time. Play your scale super slow and apply vibrato to every note. Once you can do that, then start connecting things a little bit more. The other thing I would say is bending. Being able to bend in tune is supremely important. If you only practice those two things, excuse me, I'm about to sneeze. Hold on. Coronavirus. Okay, sorry about that. If you only do two lead guitar things ever, and I heard somebody else say this, so I can't take credit for it, but vibrato and bending. If you've got incredible vibrato and in-tune bending, you, my friend, are set. So forget about sweep picking, forget about alternate picking, forget about legato, forget about anything else. Just make sure you can play a few notes and you can bend and do vibrato. I mean, look at like a guy like Carlos Santana. I'm not even really a fan of Santana. Y'all ever seen the video Santana Shreds? You got to YouTube that. Santana Shreds, where someone overdubs Santana Shreds. It's incredible. Anyway, um, Carlos Santana doesn't play fast. He doesn't play a lot of notes, but he's got great vibrato, and he's great at bending. Okay. Another example of that would be like Jeff Beck. He's not that technical when it comes to playing a lot of notes, or advanced techniques, but man, can the guy handle a whammy bar? And my goodness, can Jeff Beck phrase? He knows how to bend those notes. He knows how to make a musical statement in a very unique way that is extremely hard to duplicate. That's kind of another sign of a great guitar player, I think. They're hard to duplicate. Jeff Beck and Eddie Van Halen, for me personally, those are the two hardest guys to duplicate because they have just such incredible feel. They're not very academic in their playing. It's a whole lot of feel. So in my mind, those are the things that make a great guitar player. They're unique and they have at least great vibrato and great bending. They're making a unique statement and they're doing it with great vibrato and great bending. If you have those things, I think you are a great guitar player, a great lead guitar player. Sorry, I should specify because there's lots of great rhythm guitar players as well. We didn't even talk about that today. So cool. Well, I'm going to wrap it up there. I'd love to read your comments and interact with you guys. Check me out. Check me out. Be sure to like and subscribe or dislike and subscribe, whatever, as long as you pay attention. I don't care if you like it or not. Check out unlimitedguitar.com/lead guitar. Okay, I'll put that in the chat box down here. Unlimitedguitar.com/lead guitar. You can get my free lead guitar techniques course. Make sure you understand the most important techniques. There's 6 or 7. Yikes, I should know what they are. I go through a series of videos and there's a PDF that goes with it, and that's totally free. Or if you're interested in live lessons, check out my music school's website. I own a music school in Fort Worth, Texas called Fort Worth Music Academy. You can visit us at fortworthmusicacademy.com. And you can fill out a form there to schedule a trial lesson with us. And just let me know that you found us on YouTube. And I think that's it. So yeah, there's no live comments here. There is somebody watching, but I'd love for you guys after the fact, if you watch this, to put some live comments in. I hope you have a great day. And as my great Aunt Bonanza always says, Superman is only super if he's a man. No, that's not true. Wow, what a misogynistic thing to say. I don't believe that at all. All right, you guys have. Wait, how do I? Oh, that's how I end it. Bye.